They told me the money was safe until graduation. Turns out it paid for a boat, a bar tab, and a man's ego. The night I asked for my fund back, my stepfather swung first and thought the bruises would shut me up. He forgot I'm the kind of woman who turns pain into evidence, and evidence into justice. That $50,000 was supposed to be my future. Instead, it became his downfall. And when they slapped the cuffs on him in that courtroom, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. My name is Harper Quinn, and I've spent the last 3 years watching people die and come back to life in the back of ambulances. As an EMT for Riverton EMS, I know what real emergencies look like. But nothing prepared me for the night my stepfather's fist connected with my face over a simple question about my college fund. The acceptance letter sits on my kitchen counter like a Promise RN to BSN program at State, partial scholarship included. After years of 12-hour shifts, cleaning vomit off stretchers, and compressing chests until my arms burn, I'm finally getting out. Or I thought I was. That's why I need the $8,000 for fall tuition. That's why I'm standing in my mother's kitchen at 9:30 p.m., watching Don Whitaker's face turn the color of raw beef. I just need to see the statements, I say, keeping my voice steady the way I do when talking down combative patients. The fund should have at least $50,000. Dad's life insurance. Your father's been dead 11 years. Don cuts in, not looking up from his phone. The harsh overhead light catches the gold ring on his finger, the one my mother bought him with her teacher's salary. I've managed that money just fine. My mother, Elaine, hovers by the refrigerator, wringing a dish rag like she's trying to strangle it. She's gotten thinner since Dawn opened Harbor Jack's, that dive bar down by the marina. Stress, she claims. But I know it's because she skips meals to avoid these conversations. Managed it how? I press. The account was supposed to be in my name when I turned 18. That was 9 years ago. Don's chair scrapes against linoleum as he stands. 6'2" of former high school football player gone to fat, but still dangerous. I learned that when I was 16, the first time he disciplined me for talking back. Mom called it discipline. The court would call it something else. You ungrateful little... He steps closer, beer and cigars on his breath. I raised you, fed you, kept a roof over your head when your real daddy left you nothing but bills. He left $50,000 for my education, which I invested, improved, made something of it instead of letting it rot in some savings account. Then show me the improved balance. That's when I see it, the tell I've learned to recognize in patients who are about to turn violent, the jaw clench, the shoulder roll, the way his right hand curls into a fist. Don, my mother whispers, a warning or a plea. I can't tell which. He ignores her. You want to see where your precious fund went. Look around you. This house, that car you drove in high school, the food in your belly for 11 years. You owe me, not the other way around. That's not how custodial accounts work, I say, pulling out my phone. I looked it up. When Dad died, that money was supposed to be held in trust for me. You were just the temporary guardian. The blow comes faster than I expect. Not a slap, a closed fist punch that sends me stumbling into the counter. Pain explodes across my cheekbone. Copper fills my mouth. My EMT training kicks in probable contusion to the zygomatic arch, possible oral laceration. Document everything. Dawn. My mother's voice cracks, but she doesn't move from her spot by the refrigerator. She needs to learn respect, he says, shaking out his hand like I'm the one who hurt him. Coming in here, making demands. After everything I've done. Blood drips onto my scrub top. I came straight from work. Still in uniform. The irony isn't lost on me. How many domestic violence victims have I treated, telling them to get help, to document, to leave? And here I am, tasting my own blood in my childhood kitchen while my mother watches in silence. I'm calling the police, I say, but my phone has slipped from my hand, somewhere on the floor. Go ahead. Dawn's laugh is ugly. Tell them you got mouthy and tripped. See who they believe, the respected business owner or the girl trying to steal money that was never hers. I straighten up, pressing my sleeve against my bleeding lip. It was mine. Dad made sure of that. Your dad's dead. I'm the only father you've got, and the money's gone. Spent. Invested in the bar, the boat, this family. So, unless you want another lesson in respect, you'll shut your mouth and be grateful for what you have. My mother finally speaks, her voice barely a whisper. Harper, please, don't make this bigger than it needs to be. I look at her, this woman who once fought the school board for better funding, who taught me to stand up for myself and see a stranger. She's choosing him. Again. The money's really gone, I ask, though I already know the answer. Every penny put to good use, Don says, settling back into his chair like nothing happened. Now get out of my kitchen before I decide you need another reminder about respect. I grab my phone from the floor and walk to the bathroom on unsteady legs. In the mirror, my face is already swelling, the blood on my lips starting to congeal. I take out my phone with shaking hands and snap photo after photo, the bruise blooming purple across my cheekbone, the split lip, the blood on my scrubs. This is evidence, and evidence is what I do best. Tomorrow, I'll go to the ER at St. Augustine General where my EMT credentials mean something. I'll get x-rays, documentation, a paper trail. I'll pull bank records, find receipts, trace where $50,000 disappeared to. Don Whitaker thinks violence ends conversations. He's about to learn it's just the beginning of a much longer story, one that ends with handcuffs, not bruises. The ER at St. Augustine General smells like bleach and broken promises at 7:15 a.m. I know half the staff here from bringing in patients, which makes this harder. Dr. Ramirez raises an eyebrow when she sees me in the waiting room, holding an ice pack against my face. Harper, what happened? I need to be seen as a patient, I say formally, and I need everything documented. She gets it immediately. In emergency medicine, we learn to read between the lines. 20 minutes later, I'm in an exam room, and she's photographing my injuries under the harsh medical lights while a nurse takes notes. Contusion consistent with blunt force trauma. Dr. Ramirez dictates. 3-inch area of ecchymosis across the right zygomatic arch. 1 centimeter laceration to the inner lower lip. She pauses, meets my eyes. You want the police called? Not yet, just the medical records, official copies. After x-rays confirm no fractures, I leave with a folder of documentation and a prescription for pain meds I won't fill. My next stop is Crown Point Pediatrics, where my best friend Tessa Morales works as a medical secretary. She takes one look at my face and pulls me into the break room. Jesus, Harper, was it Dawn? I nod, not trusting my voice. Tessa's been my friend since nursing school before I had to drop out when the money supposedly ran out. She knows the whole story. What do you need? She asks, already in problem-solving mode. I need to know how to make sure medical records hold up in court, and I need help getting my bank records. Tessa spends her lunch break walking me through medical documentation requirements, chain of custody, admissible evidence. She makes copies of everything on the practice's commercial-grade copier. Triple redundancy, she says, electronic, physical, and cloud backup. That afternoon, I walk into Great Basin Credit Union with my ID and a written request for 10 years of account history. The teller looks nervous. Maybe it's the bruise. Maybe it's the determined set of my jaw. I need all records for account ending in 4792, I say. The Harper Quinn Educational Fund. That account requires dual authorization. Not since I turned 18. I slide over a printout of state law regarding custodial accounts. I'm the sole owner now, have been for 9 years. It takes 40 minutes and a manager's override, but I walk out with 500 pages of transactions. Back in my apartment, I spread them across my kitchen table like a murder board. The pattern is obvious once you know what to look for. Monthly withdrawals starting 5 years ago, right after Dawn opened Harbor Jack's. 3,000 here, 5,000 there. Transfer descriptions that make my stomach turn. Business equipment, inventory investment, marine supplies, premium spirits wholesale. But it's the bigger transfers that make my hands shake. $12,400 to Whitaker Holdings LLC just last year. $8,000 to Riverside Marina for something labeled slip rental and vessel storage. The same month, Don posted photos of his new bass boat on Facebook. I screenshot everything: the bank records, his social media posts showing off the boat named Skyline, the pictures of Harbor Jack's renovation with its new commercial kitchen that cost exactly what disappeared from my fund. I find the original custodial agreement in my father's old papers, stored in a box under my bed. The language is clear: funds to be used solely for higher education expenses. Custodian authority terminates upon beneficiary's 18th birthday. Don's signature is right there, acknowledging these terms. My phone buzzes. Tessa. Found something. Check your email. She sent me links to Public Records Don's LLC registration, listing him as sole member. Tax records showing Harbor Jack's claimed my education fund withdrawals as business deductions. The boat registration in his name. Purchased with cash. I create folders: medical evidence, financial records, legal documents, social media, public records. Each piece slots into place like I'm building a patient care report, every detail documented, every connection clear. The smoking gun comes from an unexpected source: a receipt from Donaldson's Marine Supply that Don left in Mom's car last month, which I photographed while helping her with groceries. $2,300 for a boat GPS system, paid from account ending in 4792. My account. By evening. I've built a case that would make any prosecutor salivate. Theft by conversion, breach of fiduciary duty, fraud. And now, with my face still swollen and documented, assault and battery. I call in sick for my shift tomorrow, the first time in 2 years. My supervisor is concerned, but I tell her I need a few days for a family emergency. Not a lie. Exactly. Sitting at my table, surrounded by evidence, I pull up the email Tessa helped me draft to 3 law firms specializing in financial crimes and family law. I attach a summary of my case, key documents, and photos of my injuries. The subject line reads, "Custodial account theft and assault seeking representation." Don thought he could beat me into silence, that a working-class EMT wouldn't have the resources or knowledge to fight back. He forgot that I spend my days navigating bureaucracy, documenting everything, building narratives from evidence. My phone buzzes. Mom, please come home. Don feels terrible. Let's talk about this as a family. I delete the message and take another photo of my bruised face in the lamplight. Don doesn't feel terrible yet, but he will. Harbor Jack's sits empty at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, which is perfect for what I have planned. The smell of stale beer and fried food hits me as I push through the door, my phone already recording in my jacket pocket. Don's behind the bar, polishing glasses. Mom sits at a corner table, grading papers with the dedication of someone avoiding reality. Harper. Mom stands, reaching for me, then freezes when she sees my face. The bruise has evolved into a purple-green masterpiece that makeup can't hide. Oh, honey. Sit down, Mom. I pull out the chair across from them, placing a manila folder on the sticky table. We need to discuss the $50,000. Don sets down his glass with deliberate calm. I told you that money's been invested in the family. Invested? I open the folder, spreading out bank statements. Like this $12,000 transfer to Whitaker Holdings LLC, or the $8,000 to Riverside Marina for your boat slip. His face darkens, but I keep going, my voice clinical, the way I deliver patient reports. 5 years of withdrawals, 73 transactions total, everyone violating the custodial agreement you signed. You had no right to pull those records. Actually, I did. The account became mine at 18. You just forgot to tell me. I slide over the original agreement. Don's signature highlighted in yellow. Custodian authority terminated 9 years ago. Every withdrawal since then. That's theft. Mom's voice cracks. Harper, please. Don was trying to provide for us. With my education fund. With Dad's life insurance money that was specifically left for my college. Your father's dead. Don slams his hand on the bar. 2 day drinkers at the corner look up. I'm the one who raised you. fed you. That money was payment for what being a parent. That's not how it works. I pull out my phone, stopping the recording and starting a new one. Visible this time. I want my money back. All $50,000 plus interest. You can liquidate the boat, take out a business loan. I don't care how you get it. Dawn laughs, ugly and sharp. Or what you'll sue me with what money? I slide over another paper. Northline Legal has already agreed to take the case on contingency. 30% of whatever we recover, plus damages. It's a draft agreement from Aisha Patel, who responded to my email within hours. Or you can sign this repayment plan. $50,000 over 30 months. Starting now. Mom gasps. Harper, you're destroying this family. No, Mom. Don destroyed it when he stole my future and then hit me for asking about it. Don moves around the bar toward me, and I stand, keeping the table between us. Sign the agreement, Don, or we do this in court. He grabs my wrist, squeezing until bones grind. I don't flinch. I've handled worse from combative patience. You ungrateful little bitch. After everything, let go. My voice stays level. The camera's recording. I nod toward the security dome in the corner. He releases me but leans in close, breath hot with whiskey at 3 in the afternoon. You think you're smart? Think you can waltz in here and threaten me? I'll bury you in court. Tell them you're unstable, drug-seeking, making up stories. Like you made up business expenses. I rub my wrist, making sure the red marks are visible. Like you made up that the money was invested for my benefit. Mom stands between us, tears streaming. Both of you, stop, Harper. We're family. Families don't steal from each other. Families don't stand by while their daughter gets punched. My voice breaks for the first time. You saw it happen. Mom. You watched him hit me and you did nothing. You were being disrespectful. I was asking about my money. Money for nursing school. Remember when you used to brag about your daughter, the future nurse? I gather my papers, hands trembling. Now you're grading papers while he drinks away my education fund. Don snatches the repayment agreement, tearing it in half, then quarters. The pieces flutter to the sticky floor. Sue me then. See how far you get. No judge is going to side with a vindictive daughter trying to destroy her parents over imaginary money. Imaginary? I hold up my phone, making sure he sees it's still recording. Like that boat named Skyline is imaginary. Like the kitchen renovation paid for with my account is imaginary. Get out! His fist clenches again. Get out Before you what? Hit me again. Go ahead. Add another assault charge? Assault! He laughs. You tripped. Remember, Elaine. She was clumsy, emotional, tripped right into the counter. Mom looks at the floor, nodding slowly. She's always been clumsy. The betrayal hits harder than Don's fist ever could. I stop the recording, save it to the cloud, and head for the door. At the threshold, I turn back. Aisha Patel will be in touch. Oh, and Don. That LLC you've been funneling money through. The one you've been using for tax fraud, the IRS is going to love that. You wouldn't dare. I'm an EMT. I document everything. Every bruise, every lie, every stolen dollar. I touch my swollen cheek. You thought this would shut me up. Instead, you gave me evidence. And evidence wins cases. The security camera blinks red above us. Silent witness to everything. As I walk to my car, I forward the recording to Aisha and Tessa. My wrist throbs where Don grabbed it more documentation needed. Mom appears at the door, disheveled and desperate. Harper, please, don't do this. We can work something out. We just tried that. He tore up the agreement. You backed his lies. I get in my car. I'm done begging for what's mine. See you in court. As I drive away, I glimpse them in my rearview, Mom crying. Don's face twisted with rage. He still thinks this is about power, about control, about keeping me in my place. He's about to learn it's about justice, and justice doesn't negotiate with thieves. Aisha Patel's office smells like sandalwood and justice. She's younger than I expected, maybe 35, with sharp eyes that scan through my evidence like a scanner reading barcodes. For 20 minutes, she's been silent, occasionally making notes on her legal pad while I sit across from her, trying not to fidget. "This is thorough," she finally says, setting down the stack of bank statements. "You've done half my job for me." "I document everything. Occupational hazard." She pulls up the photos of my injuries on her tablet, zooming in on the bruise. "These are from 4 days ago. Yes, I have the ER records, the radiologist's report, everything time-stamped. And this recording from the bar." She plays a snippet, Dawn's voice filling the office. "Get out before I—" She stops it. That's clearly threatening. Combined with the wrist grabbing on camera and your visible injuries, we have assault and intimidation. "Can you get my money back?" Aisha leans back, fingers steepled. "Harper, we're not just getting your money back. We're going for the jugular." She opens her laptop, fingers flying across the keyboard. "Here's my strategy. We file criminal charges, first assault and battery, plus theft by conversion for the custodial account. The criminal case gives us leverage for the civil suit. Both cases. Criminal puts pressure on him. A conviction means he can't deny the theft in civil court. Plus," she smiles, sharp as a scalpel, "Lake County has a victim restitution statute. If he's convicted of stealing from a custodial account, the court can order double damages. That's $100,000, not $50. My heart pounds. "What about Mom? She's been complicit." "Your mother's in a gray area. Knowing about financial abuse isn't the same as participating. Unless she signed checks or transfers, she's a witness, not a defendant." Aisha pauses, though her covering for the assault is problematic. "She'll lie for him. That's why we need documentation that speaks louder than she does." Aisha creates a new file on her computer. "I'm filing for an emergency protective order today. With your injuries documented and the recording of him grabbing you, we'll get it. That keeps him away from you while we build the case. He'll retaliate. He owns a bar, knows half the town." "Good, let him." "Every nasty thing he does becomes evidence of guilt." She pulls out a subpoena form. "We're going to request Harbor Jack's security footage from that day. The bar's insurance company will have to preserve it once we file." "What about the financial crimes?" "That's where this gets beautiful." Aisha pulls up the Whitaker Holdings LLC records on her screen. "He used your education fund as business capital, then claimed the expenses as tax deductions. That's tax fraud on top of theft. We subpoena his business records, the marina, every vendor he paid with your money." She starts drafting documents, talking as she types. "We'll also freeze his assets, the boat, the bar's accounts, the LLC, all of it gets locked down pending trial. He can't sell or hide anything. He'll get a lawyer. Let him. Criminal defense attorneys are expensive. Every dollar he spends defending himself is a dollar he could have used to pay you back." She prints out several forms. "Sign here for representation. Here for the criminal complaint, and here for the civil suit." I sign everything, my hand steady despite the adrenaline. "What happens next?" "I file these this afternoon. The protective order should be granted by tomorrow morning. Dawn will be served at the bar publicly, during business hours." She seems to enjoy that thought. "The criminal charges go to the DA's office. Given your documentation, they'll likely issue a warrant within 48 hours. That fast. Elder abuse and financial exploitation of dependents are priority crimes in this county. Plus, you're a first responder. The DA's office knows you." She's right. I've testified in abuse cases before, documented injuries that sent people to prison. Now it's my turn on the other side. "There's more," Aisha continues. "We need to subpoena your mother's communications, texts, emails about the fund. If she knew and helped conceal it. She did. She told me once that Dawn needed the money to save their marriage." "When?" "Last year, when I asked about starting school." "Did you document it?" I pull out my phone, scrolling through texts. There, Mom saying, "Please understand, the money went to keeping our family together. Dawn's business needed it." Aisha screenshots it immediately. "That's admission of knowledge. She can't claim ignorance now." She adds it to the file. "We also need the marina records, The boat purchase documents. Every contractor who worked on the bar renovation. That's a lot of subpoenas. That's the point. We bury him in legal demands. Everyone costs him time and money to fight. She pulls up a calendar. The protective order hearing is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Can you be there? I'll call in sick again. Bring a support person, not your mother. Tessa, my friend Tessa. Perfect. Aisha hands me a business card. My cell's on the back. If Don contacts you, if he shows up, if he sends flying monkeys, call me immediately. Flying monkeys. People who do his dirty work. Relatives, friends, employees trying to guilt or threaten you. Classic abuser tactic. She stands, extending her hand. Harper, you've done everything right. The documentation, the medical records, the recordings, it's textbook perfect. I just want my money back, and to never see him again. You'll get both, and possibly more. She walks me to the door. Don's about to learn that stealing from you was the worst financial decision he ever made. That boat he bought, it'll be sold at auction. The bar line's attached. The LLC dissolved. As I leave her office, my phone buzzes. Mom, Don's been served with something. What did you do? He's destroying things. Please call me. I forward the text to Aisha and keep walking. Don's rage isn't my problem anymore. It's evidence. And evidence, as I'm learning, is everything. The protective order arrives at Harbor Jack's during happy hour. I'm not there to see it, but Tessa's cousin works at the sheriff's office and tells her Don turned purple, started throwing glasses, and had to be warned about destruction of property. By 8 p.m., I have 17 missed calls from Mom, 12 from Don, and 3 from numbers I don't recognize. I don't answer any of them. Aisha told me to document, not engage. The last voicemail is Don, drunk and raging. You think you're smart. You little bitch, I'll destroy you. You'll never work in this town again. I'll make sure everyone knows what a lying, ungrateful. I save it to the cloud and forward it to Aisha, violating a protective order before it's even formally issued. Don's really not as smart as he thinks he is. Tomorrow, the war begins in earnest. Tonight, I sleep peacefully for the first time in years. The whispers start at work 3 days after the protective order is granted. I'm restocking the ambulance when my partner Jake approaches, looking uncomfortable. Harper, did you really accuse Don Whitaker of being a drug addict? What? I nearly dropped the IV bags. Where did you hear that? There's a rumor going around that you filed a false police report, said he's dealing opioids out of the bar. Jake won't meet my eyes. Management got an anonymous tip that you've been stealing meds from the bus. My blood runs cold. Don's counterattack has begun. Jake, you've been my partner for 2 years. Have you ever seen me take anything? No, but... He shifts uncomfortably. They're doing a drug test. Today. And Chief wants to see you. 20 minutes later, I'm peeing in a cup while my supervisor watches apologetically. I'm sorry, Harper. Anonymous complaint means mandatory testing. Protocol. I know. I hand over the sample. Test it twice if you want. I haven't even taken the pain meds prescribed for my face. Chief Morrison examines my bruised cheek. That from the domestic incident. Yes, my stepfather. The same one claiming you're unstable and drug-seeking. The same one who stole $50,000 from my college fund. Morrison nods slowly. For what it's worth, I don't believe it. But I have to follow procedure. You're on admin duty until the test clears. The smear campaign intensifies. By noon, Child and Family Services calls someone reported that I'm unstable and shouldn't be allowed near my cousin's kid, who I babysit one Saturday a month. By 3 p.m., there's a Riverton community Facebook post claiming I attacked Don and then filed false charges when he defended himself. Aisha is unsurprised when I call her. Document everything. Screenshot the posts. Record the calls. Get written statements from your supervisor about the false drug allegations. He's panicking, which means he's guilty. He's trying to destroy my reputation. And creating evidence of witness intimidation and retaliation. Beautiful evidence. I can hear her typing. I'm filing an emergency motion. This behavior violates the protective order and constitutes criminal harassment. That evening, Detective Jalen Ross shows up at my apartment. He's tall, methodical, and takes notes in a small pad while I walk him through everything. "The boat," he says, studying the receipts. "The skyline. Where's it docked? Riverside Marina, slip 47. I'll need to photograph it, run the registration." He looks at the bank records. "This LLC Whitaker Holdings. Any idea what else he's been doing with it?" Aisha thinks tax fraud. He wrote off the boat as a business expense. Ross whistles low. "Financial Crimes Unit is going to love this. The anonymous complaints about you. When did those start?" "Day after the protective order was served. Clear retaliation." He stands. "I'll need you to come to the station tomorrow. Give a formal statement. Bring everything, all your documentation. Will you arrest him?" That's the DA's call. But between you and me, a man who steals 50 grand from his stepdaughter and then assaults her when she asks about it, yeah, he's getting arrested. My phone buzzes. "Mom." Again. "Don's lawyer says you're trying to destroy us. Please stop this. I'll pay you back myself over time. Please." I show Ross the text. He photographs it. She's admitting the money was taken. That's helpful. After he leaves, I call Tessa. "How bad is the gossip?" "Don's telling everyone you're a drug addict who attacked him for money to feed your habit." She pauses. "But here's the thing. People who know you don't believe it. And the ones who do, they're already drunk at his bar by noon. Not exactly credible witnesses." The next morning, my drug test comes back clean, obviously. Chief Morrison apologizes and puts me back on regular duty. I screenshot the results, adding them to my growing evidence file. At the police station, I give my statement to Ross and an ADA named Patricia Hawkins. She's older, serious, and takes notes on a legal pad while I talk. "The Facebook posts are libel," she says. "The false reports to your employer and CFS are criminal harassment, combined with the assault and theft." She looks at Ross. "Pick him up. Today. We have enough for arrest. The financial crimes will take longer to prosecute, but the assault and harassment charges stick immediately." I'm back at work, transporting a cardiac patient, when Tessa texts, "Check Don's mugshot, just posted on the county sheriff's page." There he is, Donald Mitchell Whitaker, looking haggard and furious, charged with assault, battery, witness intimidation, and criminal harassment. Bail set at $25,000. My phone explodes with texts. Mom, hysterical. Unknown numbers calling me horrible names. But also supportive messages from coworkers who never liked Don anyway. That night, Aisha calls with an update. He bailed out, but there's good news. His lawyer reached out. "They want to negotiate." "No. Harper. No negotiations. He tried to destroy my career, my reputation. He sent CFS after me, claimed I'm a drug addict. My voice is steel. I want everything, the money, damages, and I want him convicted." "That's my girl," Aisha says, and I can hear her smile. "Oh, and the judge approved our subpoena for the LLC records. Turns out Don's been very creative with his bookkeeping. The forensic accountant found something interesting. He's been using the LLC to hide income from your mother, too." "What do you mean?" "He's been telling her the bar barely breaks even while funneling profits through the LLC. She's been living on her teacher's salary while he's been spending hundreds of thousands on boats and toys. She needs to know. She will. Discovery is a beautiful thing." Aisha pauses. "Your mother's about to learn she's been a victim, too. The question is whether she'll finally choose her daughter over her abuser." As I hang up, I think about Mom, alone in that house with a man who lies as easily as breathing. She chose him over me. Yes. But maybe, just maybe, when she sees the evidence of how he's betrayed us both, she'll remember who she used to be. Or maybe not. Either way, I'm not stopping. Don wanted war. He's getting annihilation. Mom shows up at my apartment at 11:45 p.m., looking like she's aged 10 years in 2 weeks. Her teacher's cardigan hangs loose on her frame, and there are dark circles under her eyes that makeup can't hide. "Can I come in?" I step aside, letting her into my small living room. She sits on my second-hand couch, clutching her purse like a life preserver. "Don doesn't know I'm here," she starts, voice barely above a whisper. "He's at the bar, drinking with his lawyer. What do you want, Mom?" She pulls out a manila envelope, hands shaking. "I found these in his office, hidden in the gun safe." She empties the contents on my coffee table receipts, bank statements, emails. "You were right. About everything." I pick up an email dated 3 years ago. Don to his marina buddy, "Kid doesn't need college anyway. Women just get married and pop out babies. Better the money goes to something useful like my boat." "You knew," I say, not a question but a statement. "I suspected. But She breaks down crying. "I was so afraid of being alone again. After your father died. I couldn't handle it. Don seemed strong, capable. I didn't want to see what he was. He stole from me. From Dad's memory." "I know." She pulls out another paper, a contract for the bar's kitchen renovation. $42,000. Look at the payment source. There it is, in black and white. Harper Quinn Educational Fund listed as the funding source. "Mom, this is evidence. Will you testify?" She nods, tears streaming. "But there's more. Harper, I need immunity or something. I signed some of the withdrawals. He told me it was for family expenses, that we'd pay it back." My stomach drops. "How many?" "Maybe 5 or 6. Small amounts. Under 2,000 each." She pulls out another paper withdrawal slips with her signature. "He said it was temporary, that the bar would make us rich and you'd never need the money anyway since you were already working. You both stole from me. I'll pay it back. Every penny. I've already talked to the credit union about a loan against my pension. Mom, that's not the point." I study the papers. Her signatures are on maybe $8,000 worth of withdrawals. Enough for criminal charges, but not enough for Aisha to consider her a primary target. "I need everything, every document, every conversation you remember, every lie he told." She nods, pulling out her phone. "I recorded him last night, after he got back from bail. He was drunk, raging about you." She hits play. Dawn's slurred voice fills my apartment. "That ungrateful bitch wants to ruin me. I gave her everything. That money was mine the moment her daddy died. What's a kid need with 50 grand? I built a business with it. I made something of myself. She should be grateful I didn't take more." "There's more," Mom says, scrolling through her phone. 3 days ago, he was on the phone with someone about moving money offshore. He mentioned the Cayman Islands. I grab my phone, calling Aisha despite the late hour. She answers on the second ring. "Harper." "What's wrong?" "My mother's here. She has evidence, and Dawn's trying to hide assets offshore." "Put her on speaker." For the next hour, Aisha walks us through everything. Mom agrees to testify in exchange for a deferred prosecution agreement. She pays back what she took, testifies against Dawn, and avoids charges. "Mrs. Whitaker, I need you to go home and act normal," Aisha says. "Can you do that?" "I don't know if I can face him." "You have to. If he suspects you're cooperating, he'll destroy evidence or run." Aisha's voice is firm. "Harper, I'm filing an emergency asset freeze motion first thing tomorrow. No offshore transfers, no boat sales. Nothing moves." After Mom leaves looking smaller and more fragile than I've ever seen her, I sit surrounded by new evidence. The receipts from the gun safe include purchases I hadn't found jewelry for a woman who isn't Mom, hotel rooms during business trips, gambling debts paid from my fund. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Harper Quinn. "Yes. My name is Melissa Crawford. I was involved with Don Whitaker. I heard about the charges." Her voice is nervous. "I have information about the money. He gave me gifts, told me it was from his business profits. But I saw bank statements once. They had your name on them." "Would you be willing to testify?" "I kept the jewelry receipts. And," she pauses, "he wrote me checks from the LLC for consulting services. I never consulted on anything." Another witness. Another crack in Dawn's story. Can you meet with my lawyer tomorrow? Yes. And Harper. I'm sorry. If I'd known the money was stolen from you, I never would have. Just bring the receipts. By morning, Aisha has 3 new witnesses lined up. Mom, Melissa, and surprisingly, Dawn's former business partner who he screwed over 2 years ago, all ready to testify about Dawn's financial crimes. The DA added charges, Aisha tells me over coffee at 7 a.m. Fraud, money laundering, tax evasion. The IRS is now interested too. How much time could he get? If convicted on all counts, 8 to 12 years. She smiles. Plus, full restitution, penalties, and interest. You could walk away with over $200,000. I just wanted my college fund back. And he wanted to destroy you for asking. Sometimes the cover-up really is worse than the crime. My phone rings. Mom. Harper. Dawn knows. About my meeting with you. Someone saw me leaving your apartment. He's destroying things, threatening to kill you and me both. I've locked myself in the bathroom. Call 911. Now. I'll send them your location. I hang up and dial emergency dispatch while Aisha calls Detective Ross. Within minutes, units are rolling to Mom's house. The text comes 20 minutes later from Ross. Your mother is safe. Dawn Whitaker in custody. Violated protective order. New charges for domestic violence and terroristic threats. No bail this time. Mom's at the hospital when I arrive. Being treated for minor injuries, Dawn had started breaking down the bathroom door when police arrived. She looks up at me, face streaked with tears and mascara. I'm sorry, Harper. For everything. For choosing him. For not protecting you. For letting him steal. We'll deal with that later, I say, sitting beside her. Right now, you're safe. That's what matters. She hands me a USB drive. I grabbed this before I locked myself in. It's from his computer. Everything financial records, emails, his plan to discredit you. Even a draft email to your employer claiming you stole drugs to sell. The final nails in Dawn Whitaker's coffin. As the nurse tends to Mom's bruised wrists, I realize something. Dawn thought he was the predator in this story. But predators forget that even prey can bite back when cornered, and I've got very sharp teeth. The Lake County Courthouse looks different from the plaintiff's table. I've testified here before as an EMT, but never as a victim. Dawn sits 20 feet away in his blue suit, the one Mom bought him last Christmas. His jaw clenched as Aisha arranges our evidence displays on the table. Judge Catherine Brennan presides, a woman known for having zero tolerance for financial predators. The gallery is half full. Some of Dawn's bar regulars showed up to support him, but more people are here for the spectacle. Small-town drama at its finest. Ms. Patel, you may present your evidence, Judge Brennan says at 9:15 a.m. sharp. Aisha stands, clicking a remote that brings a timeline to life on the courtroom screen. Your Honor, over 5 years. Donald Whitaker systematically drained a $50,000 education fund that he was legally obligated to protect. When confronted, he assaulted the beneficiary. When she sought legal recourse, he attempted to destroy her reputation and career. The evidence unfolds like a symphony. Bank statements showing withdrawals, photos of the boat purchased with my college fund, the kitchen renovation receipts. Each piece slots into place, building a wall of guilt. Dr. Ramirez takes the stand first, describing my injuries in clinical detail. The photos of my bruised face appear on screen, larger than life. Dawn shifts in his seat. Detective Ross testifies next, playing the recording from the bar. Dawn's voice echoes through the courtroom. Get out before I... The threat hangs unfinished but clear. Then comes the forensic accountant, a thin man named Bradley Kumar who dissects the money trail with surgical precision. The defendant created a shell company specifically to hide these stolen funds. He then claimed tax deductions on purchases made with the victim's money, compounding theft with fraud. How much money was taken total? Aisha asks. $53,432, plus accumulated interest that should have accrued, bringing the total loss to approximately $68,000. Dawn's lawyer, a sweaty man named Carl Morrison, tries to cross-examine. Isn't it possible Mr. Whitaker believed he was investing the money for Harper's benefit? Kumar doesn't blink. Investing in a personal base boat in bar renovations. No reasonable person would consider those educational expenses. Melissa Crawford takes the stand next, nervous but determined. She produces receipts for jewelry, trips, dinners all paid for with my money. He said business was booming, she testifies. He never mentioned the money came from his stepdaughter's college fund. When Mom takes the stand, the courtroom goes silent. She looks small, fragile, but her voice is steady. Did you know about the withdrawals? Aisha asks gently. Eventually, yes. Dawn said it was temporary, that Harper didn't need college anyway, that women just, she stops, swallows, that women just get married and have babies. He said the money was better used for our security. Did you believe that? I wanted to. Mom looks at me for the first time. I was a coward. I chose financial security over my daughter's future. I failed as a mother. Dawn's lawyer declines to cross-examine her. Smart move attacking a crying mother doesn't play well. Then Aisha calls me to the stand. I tell my story simply, factually. The promise of education, the discovery of theft, the confrontation, the fist. How has this affected you? Aisha asks. I've worked as an EMT for 3 years, saving to return to school. I was accepted into a nursing program. Without that money, my father's money, I can't attend. Don didn't just steal funds. He stole my future. Morrison tries to paint me as vindictive during cross-examination. You're angry at Mr. Whitaker for marrying your mother, aren't you? I'm angry he stole my education fund and punched me when I asked about it. You've cost him his business, his reputation. He cost himself those things when he chose to steal. Morrison pulls out a photo of the boat. This is a modest base boat, hardly a luxury item, purchased with my college fund. Allegedly, the receipt has my account number on it. I point to the display. Right there. Account ending in 4792. The Harper Quinn Educational Fund. Morrison sits down, defeated. The best moment comes when Aisha presents one final piece of evidence, the email draft from Don's computer where he planned to plant drugs in my ambulance and frame me. This goes beyond financial crimes, Aisha says. This shows conspiracy to commit a felony, intent to destroy a first responder's career. This is the action of a man who believes he's above the law. Judge Brennan's face hardens as she reads the email. Don's lawyer presents a weak defense claims of misunderstanding, promises to repay, character witnesses who are clearly drunk even at 10 in the morning. It falls flat. During a recess, Don corners me near the water fountain. You destroyed everything, he hisses. The bar, my reputation, Don. Aisha appears beside me, violating the protective order again, in a courthouse with cameras everywhere. She points to the security dome above us. His face goes white. When we reconvene, Judge Brennan is ready with her verdict. Mr. Whitaker, you were entrusted with a sacred duty protecting a minor's educational fund. You violated that trust. When confronted, you resorted to violence. When faced with consequences, you attempted to destroy the victim's career and reputation. She continues, on the criminal charges, I find you guilty of assault and battery, theft by conversion, and witness intimidation. Sentencing will be scheduled for next month. On the civil matter, I order full restitution of $68,000, plus treble damages under the state's fiduciary abuse statute. Total judgment $204,000. The gavel comes down like thunder. Furthermore, Judge Brennan adds, I'm granting an immediate writ of attachment on all defendants' assets. The boat registered as Skyline will be surrendered to the U.S. Marshals for auction. All bank accounts and property holdings are frozen pending satisfaction of this judgment. Don stands, face purple. This is theft. That boat is mine. Counselor, control your client. Morrison grabs Don's arm, whispering urgently, but Don shakes him off, pointing at me. You think you've won? You've destroyed your family? Your mother will never. Mr. Whitaker. Judge Brennan's voice cuts like ice. One more word and I'll hold you in contempt. Deputies, please escort the defendant to holding to await transport to county jail. 2 officers approach. The moment they reach for Don's arms, he seems to deflate. The cuffs click closed with a sound like justice. As they lead him out, he looks back once, not at me, but at Mom, who sits crying quietly in the gallery. Elaine. She doesn't look up. The courtroom empties slowly. Aisha packs our files, smiling. The boat auction should cover 1/3 of the judgment. The bar and LLC assets will handle the rest. You'll have your money within 6 months. 6 months. By spring semester. I'll be in nursing school. With money left over for a future Dawn tried to steal, outside the courthouse. Mom waits by my car. Harper, I know, I say. We'll figure it out. But not today. She nods, understanding. As she walks away, I realize something revenge isn't just about punishment. It's about reclaiming what was stolen, not just money, but dignity, power, and the right to your own future. Don thought he could beat me into submission with one punch. Instead, he taught me that some battles are worth fighting to the very end, and that evidence, properly deployed, is the best revenge of all. The marshal's auction notice appears in the newspaper 3 weeks later. 2019 Bass Tracker Pro 175, nicknamed Skyline. Minimum bid $18,000. Seeing it in black and white makes everything real. Dawn's pride and joy, bought with my future. Now just another item on the auction block. Sentencing day arrives on a cold Thursday morning. The courtroom is packed, apparently. Watching a local bar owner fall from grace is the best entertainment Riverton has seen in years. Don shuffles in wearing county orange, his wrists and ankles chained. No more blue suit. No more swagger. The judge reviews the pre-sentencing report. Don's lawyer makes one last plea for leniency, citing his client's contributions to the community and momentary lapse in judgment. Momentary. Judge Brennan's eyebrows rise. 5 years of theft is momentary. She sentences him to 4 years for the financial crimes, 18 months for assault and witness intimidation, sentences to run concurrently, 4 years total, eligible for parole in 2 with good behavior. Mr. Whitaker, she says, looking directly at him, you were in a position of trust. You chose to violate that trust, then chose violence when confronted. Your lack of remorse is troubling. I hope prison gives you time to reflect on the damage you've caused. The gavel falls one final time. As the deputies prepare to lead Don away, he turns to scan the gallery. His eyes find Mom, who's sitting 3 rows back, hands folded in her lap. For a moment, his tough guy mask slips, and I see something almost like regret. Then it's gone, replaced by the sneer I've come to know so well. Elaine, he calls out. The bar is being sold, she says quietly but firmly. The papers are already filed. His face contorts with rage, but the deputies are already moving, escorting him through the door that leads to the transport van, to prison, to his new reality. The courtroom empties slowly. In the hallway, Aisha hands me an envelope. First installment from the boat auction. $22,000. The rest will come once the bar sells and the LLC assets are liquidated. I hold the check made out to Harper Quinn. Not an education fund, not a trust, just me. My hands don't shake. After everything, this piece of paper feels almost anticlimactic. What about Mom? I ask. Her restitution payments start next month. $500 monthly for 16 months. She kept her teaching job, avoided prosecution. That's more than many get in these situations. Outside, Mom waits by the courthouse steps. She looks older but somehow lighter, like shedding dawn has removed a weight she didn't know she was carrying. I filed for divorce this morning, she says. I should have done it the night he hit you. I should have done a lot of things differently. We can't change the past, Mom. No, but I can try to make the future better. She pulls out an envelope. This is from my retirement fund. $10,000. It doesn't make up for what I let happen, but it's a start. Mom, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Consider it 11 years of missed birthdays and Christmases where I chose him over you. I take the envelope, not because I need the money anymore, but because she needs to give it. 3 months later, I'm sitting in my first nursing theory class, taking notes on pathophysiology. My scrubs are new, not the worn ones from my EMT days. My textbooks are paid for in cash, no loans, no debt, just the education my father wanted me to have. Tessa texts me a photo from the newspaper, Harbor Jack's Bar under new management. Someone bought it and turned it into a seafood restaurant. They kept nothing from Don's era, not even the name. The skyline sold to a dentist from 2 counties over who had no idea of its history. He just wanted a nice boat for weekend fishing. I hope he catches something good with it. I hope it brings him joy in a way it never could for Don. I use the settlement money carefully. Tuition, books, a decent apartment closer to campus. The rest goes into an actual investment account, one with my name on it, that no one else can touch. I'll graduate debt-free, become an RN, maybe eventually a nurse practitioner. The future Don tried to steal is mine again, paid for with his own downfall. Sometimes I run into people from town who whisper about the trial, about how I destroyed a family business, or put a good man in prison. I don't argue. I just show them the scar on my lip that never quite healed right, and they usually shut up. Mom and I have dinner once a month. We're rebuilding, slowly, carefully. She's seeing a therapist, working through 11 years of choosing an abuser over her daughter. I'm working through 11 years of being chosen over. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Last week, she told me she's been promoted to department head at her school. I forgot I was good at things, she said. Don made me believe I was nothing without him. You're not nothing, Mom. You never were. The justice system isn't perfect. Don will be out in 2 years, maybe less, but he'll come out to nothing, no business, no boat, no wife, no stepdaughter to manipulate. His reputation is destroyed, his assets gone, his future as empty as he tried to make mine. I don't think about him much anymore. I'm too busy becoming what I was always meant to be, a nurse, a healer, someone who helps rather than hurts. My father would be proud. His life insurance money finally served its purpose. Just took a longer, harder route than anyone planned. Next month, I start clinical rotations at St. Augustine General, the same ER where Dr. Ramirez documented my bruises. Full circle, but moving forward. They say the best revenge is living well. They're right. But sometimes, the best revenge is also making sure the person who hurt you faces consequences, loses everything they valued more than you, and watches from a prison cell as you rise from the ashes they created. Don thought he could beat me down with one punch, silence me with threats, bury me with lies. He thought $50,000 was worth more than my future. He was wrong about the money, but he was right about one thing: I did destroy everything. Everything he built with stolen dreams, everything he valued over family, everything he thought made him powerful. And from where I'm sitting, in my nursing classroom, with my future bright and my past settling into justice, I don't feel guilty about any of it. I feel free. The gavel has fallen. The verdict is in. And I won. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Drop a comment below and let's connect. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing your thoughts. Your support means everything, and I'd love to hear your perspective on justice, family, and standing up for what's right.